Alrighty, folks, here we are again for another exciting episode of Ultra Yomo. This is episode 3, or aka, Yomo 367. What's it?
367. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. Well, we'll call it
Yomo. Yomo. Yomo.
Yomo. Yeah. So this is a good one. So the book wasn't great, but I think this is going to be a fun conversation. Um, just quick thought before we jump into this. I was just reading the reflection before we jumped on here, and I think one of the things I enjoyed most about this, thinking back of my time reading this particular book, was it wasn't that great. And I'll be honest, like the book wasn't that great. It was kind of a waste of time, but I was actually really excited to waste my time on it. Because I felt like during Yomo, I had a production schedule to keep, right? And I was like, and if I came across a book that was, too long, too short, or whatever, or wasn't good, or something like that, I would just cram it in, and we'd keep moving on and turn on to the next one. Hope to strike gold, or hit the jackpot or whatever. It was hard for me to. We talked about this a couple of reflections ago about kind of breaking the imaginary chains. I mean, this is another one of the imaginary chains. If it was a really long book, I didn't read it. When I say really long, I mean like really, really long, right? Like, I mean the
How many hours are you
Atlas
talking about?
Shrugged. This is a 35-hour audiobook.
Okay. So
I
that's
mean,
long, right?
it's
So
almost
what
it's
is
almost
long?
900
What
pages.
is what is normal and what is
A, nor- a
starting
normal
of
a
long?
normal I'd say a normal audiobook is like 8 hours. Long a
Okay.
long audiobook is like 15. A really long audiobook is like
It's
20.
beyond 15.
Yeah. Yes. Well, no, I would say a really long audiobook. The longest audiobook that I read, the
46?
entire what's that?
46 hours?
Well, that's now. I'm talking about during Yomel. The longest audiobook that I read during Yomel, the 365, was A
Hmm.
Long Walk to Freedom, and that was 27 hours. That
Hmm.
actually went by pretty fast. That was Nelson Mandela's book, and I thought he lived a pretty interesting life, and I really enjoyed that one.
Hmm.
But yeah, so this particular book is actually, it was one I found from Ryan Holiday after I finished The Obstacle Is the Way, like, I don't know, probably like in Reflection 250 or something like that, whatever it was. And Ryan is like a voracious reader, and he had like a little podcast interview after the end of his audiobook with The Obstacle Is the Way, and he was talking about some of the books that he's gotten the most out of, and what he really enjoyed, and yada yada yada. And one of those books that he mentioned was this book called Titan: The Life of John D. Rockefeller Sr. by John Chernow. And I immediately I went and looked it up, and I was like, oh, that'd be an interesting book. Then I looked at the length of it, and I was like, whoa. I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's insane. I don't have time for this. It's going to take me half a month. I mean, like, I can't slow down Yomo production for a half of a month, because by then I would have gone through 4 books probably. So I was like, that's good. I was like, that's a gamble. That's a pretty big gamble to take on one book, right?
Hmm.
And at least that's what I thought in my brain. And this book sat on the anti-library shelves for forever. So if you haven't started to see what happened as soon as we crossed the finish line with 365 Gilmore, we immediately did Black Swan Part Two,
Hmm.
and then I was like, look, I don't have any chains anymore, like restricting me. I was like, I guess I'm willing to give this book a shot and see what happens, right? So I did, and turns out it wasn't that great of a book, and that's okay. It was 35 hours long. I learned about the guy's life. He's an interesting dude. But as with all things on this journey, you start to connect the dots to other things that matter. And for us, it's been clubbing the whole entire time. And this is what my mind took this to, of the red thread that I pulled out of this book, even though it's kind of a boring book. I mean, Rockefeller was, whatever. It was okay. He was kind of an interesting guy.
Not your
I don't
cup
know.
of tea.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Right. I mean, the
Yeah,
thing is, everybody is interesting to somebody, but it's not interesting to everybody. Because you talk about me, like everybody is infatuated with Elon Musk and Steve
right.
Jobs. I'm infatuated with a Mexican fisherman, right?
Right.
So if you look at people and they say I built this, I built that, I say, oh, I'm gonna go do something else. I love you for what you give me, but I don't want to be you. I just want to be the guy that's taking stuff from you to use. Like, hey, you wanna build a Tesla? Okay, great. I'll drive a Tesla. You want to build an iPhone? Great. I use an iPhone. You will, whatever it is.
Right.
I like you for that, but I ain't like dreaming of doing the thing that you do. So
Yep.
if I liked Apple, but I would find Steve Jobs' life to be boring. I like Tesla, but I find Elon Musk's life to be boring. But it is
Right.
super interesting to somebody who wants to be like him.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. There's
That's a
what
cup of tea.
I think there's an important caveat though with these kind of autobiographies. Elon Musk's autobiography and Steve Jobs' autobiography was both written by Walter Isaacson with them in conjunction with them. Like when you read an autobiography from, an author 100 years later where they're just going through somebody's life, it feels very like you're reading Wikipedia, and like and Wikipedia can be
Right,
interesting.
because the guys aren't authors. They are just,
Right.
interesting
They're
in what they
biographers.
do. You
Right.
look at Isaac Newton, right? You ask him to write you an autobiography, he's gonna be stuck at it because you can't understand what he's saying because he make a lot of assumptions that that he thinks but you don't. So you can't connect the dots. So,
Yep.
but then that's the thing is a lot of the books in the modern day now, say an autobiography, is like somebody else helps him put the thoughts together in a way that people can understand, like bridging
Right.
it, like using Bill Bryson's to write an autobiography of you.
Right. Yeah,
Because
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
if you
right.
tell me, your biography, and if I don't know you, it's like there's a lot of steps I'm missing that I just can't connect just because, hey, Beaver must dam, and then you take, oh, the auto run downhill or the platinum
Right.
rule and blah blah blah. It's like I say, oh, okay,
Yeah,
this is boring.
you gotta really draw like the line, clearly. Like
You have to connect the
you're spot on.
bridge.
You got to connect it, and you got to be a talented writer to be able to do that. And like Walter Isaacson is a very talented writer, and I think he does a great job of keeping you of telling the story arc. Like this was not a story arc. This was like this the same thing happened to me when I read
Yeah,
Lincoln's book, A
cabinets.
Team of
Yeah.
Rivals. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
man, that was the most boring book I've ever read in my entire life. And it wasn't like the content was not interesting. I just think if it was written with Lincoln and at the same time with like if a biographer
You
had
think of a book, right? I think of a book. It's exactly the same concept as a song, right? Because I can put together a bunch of musical notes. Doesn't mean that you're gonna like the song, right?
that's true.
So something if
That's
you can
true.
put a bunch of facts and a bunch of words together doesn't mean it's a good book. So think of a
Exactly.
book as a song, right? Some song you
Yes,
like, and some songs that you have no idea, you don't like it.
I agree.
It doesn't
Yeah,
have any rhythm.
that's Tappers. Remember the Tappers one? I can't
Uh-huh.
hear your song. The Tappers versus listeners and how many people
Yeah.
thought they would get it right or not. Like yeah, I think that's a great example. So anyway, onto the actual reflection. So I read this book and I'm enjoying it sort of. I'm learning about Rockefeller. He's an interesting guy, whatever. And I came across this section of the book where I didn't know this. Do you know that John Rockefeller founded University of Illinois at Chicago? University of Chicago, like UIC.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
are you aware that Rockefeller is the founder of UIC?
Yeah.
You knew that?
I heard it from somewhere. In forgot what it was. It wasn't in the book. But I know he founded some university, and he also, like I told you about, he only eat bread. Can't only eat bread and water while people are lavishing with the parties and stuff around him.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
I mean that's how I knew a little, not a lot, but from tidbits from here and there.
Gotcha. Well, I had no idea. He also founded Rockefeller Institution or University in Manhattan as well. And
He founded
that's
a lot of stuff. I mean,
he did. Yeah.
it's amazing how many things that you use today or know of today is came from these guys. I mean, talking about Rockefeller, Carnegie,
Yep.
JP Morgan,
Yep. The
the
Vanderbilts,
the Vanderbilt. I
yeah.
mean,
Yep. back the industrial tycoons of, of that generation it was really like America in the Wild Wild West. I mean, kind of coming of age but so anyway, so I didn't know that he founded UIC, and he didn't just found UIC. He said, in particular, I want my money at UIC to go to what do you call it? A medical research institution. He was like, I want to found, University of Chicago has like a world-renowned medical school, right? This was the first ever, I did not know this. This was the first ever research-based medical school ever to exist in the world. Was the University of Chicago, and Rockefeller, specifically wanted to do this, right? So, and the author said, let's see here, I wrote it down in here. The model was revolutionary because Rockefeller's endless sums of money, with the sole purpose to attract and gather the best of the best medical and scientific minds in the world, to give them freedom to explore with no strings attached, right? So he literally said, like, I don't want to have any control over this money. I'm just going to give you money. I want you to hire the best of the best doctors out there and people that are the best imaginations for medical thinking. And he was like, I want to get out of their way. I want everybody out of their way, and I just want them to free them up to create, right? And he told his son, he said, John, we have money, but it will only have value for mankind if we can find men with ideas, imagination, and courage to put it into productive use. And then the author went on to say the Institute's secret formula became gathering great minds, liberating them from petty cares, and letting them chase intellectual pursuits without pressures on meddling. If the founders could create an atmosphere conductive of creativity, things would presumably happen, right? And all I could hear when I heard this, I'm sure you're probably connecting the dots as I'm saying this as well, is holy shit.
This is us.
This is Clubany. Like, this is exactly the thesis of Clubany, right? And not only that, I was like, fucking A. I was like, I mean, that's literally what look at all the things that medical research institutions are the staple of almost every major university at this point in time, right? I mean, like, every university has a medical research arm because it's such a lucrative field for them. But at the same time, like, they just give people time and space to create and use their imaginations and innovate or not innovate and look what happens.
What gets me though is that you look at medical advancements, we have leaps massively in the medical field. This is why I'm really, I mean, to me, like, I get to the point where in my lifetime I'm going to be able to witness so much medical miracles.
Yes.
That I mean, I'm amazed to be, I mean, I'm continually be like surprised and amazed when I see another researcher like, hey, we can do this now, or we can do that now. And so even as I leaped up and get used to the fact of new technology comes in, and then I found another one, and 6 months later, another one a year later, it trumps that, it doubles that. I mean, so I can't stop myself from being amazed of how much we are able to accomplish in such a small time frame. I mean, you look at
this is the 1850s or something like that he started doing this shit, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's
not that long ago.
You're talking about a very short time span,
right? Not even 200 years. You're spot on. The leaps and bounds that started to happen from him. I mean, you could kind of conceivably, draw a linear line back to this moment
to the culture of research, and let the creativity win, right? So that's what I'm saying is when like you say, every single university now has a medical research facility. Every one of them. And that's the reason why we have so much leaps and bounds in the discoveries of many things. We can even splice DNA to recreate our own, whatever is missing. You can recreate that. You can like completely create yourself. I mean, you think about cloning, right?
Yep.
They clone back into in the 90s. They clone with Holly the sheep, right?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
is massive. And that in today's day, right?
The
You can
CRISPR
actually
stuff,
you can
like
actually
yeah,
go into the genes
gene
and
editing. Yeah,
you splice certain gene, take it out, put the good genes in, and
yep,
completely create you. And right now, you wanna have a kid, right? And you allow them to splice a gene, they can make a kid exactly like Hercules or anyone you want. They have
well,
that kind of technology. They have the ability to go in and completely remove any kind of um like disease prone or whatever that you're missing, yet you're whatever it is like you would be prone to have, they can completely erase that
yep.
from your genealogy. So to me, this is got to the point where in the next 20 to 30 to 50 years, we could achieve immortality again,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, I don't disagree. I mean, like who the skies of
Think about what I just said. How absurd is that? Immortality. But for
it's not
me, it's not far-fetched for me.
yeah.
If I can last another 50 years, I would be able to live because I can continue to either to regenerate or move over to different body parts.
I mean, you're not wrong, man. Like, I mean, I the you mentioned CRISPR, right? You know, what you're talking about with the gene editing.
Mhm.
That'll be book 415, or
Yes.
reflection 415 in the future. But the this is a quote from, I think, Leonardo da Vinci, that he wrote in one of his little journals. He was like, describe the tongue of a
Mhm.
woodpecker, and I mean, and that's who the fuck spends time on stuff like that? But the point, it doesn't matter. Like it was interesting to the guy, and he got to go explore it. And he's Leonardo da Vinci, right? He had a patron, right? This is what the reflection is about, right? Is we need, it says we need a Rockefeller stat. You and I need to find a Rockefeller. I mean, like we need to find a really rich person that can say, "Oh, I hear what you're
Yeah,
saying."
and you
I
know
mean,
what? I've been sitting on my ass all day long, and all I think about is ideas. And I have
right,
like out of this world idea. I just told you, I am like in the research for immortality.
right, right. I mean,
It's like
God only
who
fucking
who
knows what,
who
what you
thinks
could do with
about
this.
who thinks about that?
Well, we talked about this before. Iceland, right? How many people write a book, and a percentage of the population of Iceland writes a book?
30%,
How much? Let me ask you this question: how much of the percentage of the population of the United States do you think writes a book?
2%.
I think it's less than that. I think it's like less. I think it's like a 0.001% of the pop. I mean, actually, I'd be kind of curious. I saw this stat one time. The hell?
But my point though is that if you let your mind go free, right, you can think of you will come up with so many ideas. But
Less
if
than one
you
percent.
but if you constrain somebody's less than 1%, okay. No,
Yeah.
I give him too much credit.
As of 2022, there were 54,000 writers and authors in the United States. 54,000 out of 330 million. You know how many
Well,
writers there are?
you can guess how what percentage I mean.
Huh? Oh yeah, right.
I'm in the 99%.
Uh, the island of Iceland, with just a population of just over 300,000 people, has more writers per head of population than any other country on the earth. Astonishingly, over the course of their lifetime, 1 in 10 Icelanders will publish a book.
10%.
10%, 10% of Icelanders will publish a book. So 30,000 people in a country of 300,000 people will publish a book. And in
Well,
America,
you
a country of 330 million people, 55,000 people are active writers.
okay. So I guess you can consider yourself in the 1%.
I can, but that's not the point, right? Like, the only reason why I was able to like write a book was I kind of had Salesforce to support me through that time after I lost Amelia, right? Like, I wouldn't have had time to
Hmm.
write a book. Like, if I was trying to if I was trying to write a book and work at a corporation and in real life, like there's no fucking way I would have. I figured out how to do it with the first book that we did, and then that's why we wrote Yomo together, because now we figured out what really mattered, and that was what the whole journey was about, right? But yeah, I mean, it's what I had to do to write I Can't Imagine in this book. Do you know what I did?
But
every day, every single day
Hey,
for 1,000, 1,500 days. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
no, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say every single day for 1,000 or almost 1,500 days, I've woken up and I've written for like about an hour before my job, right? Like, and that was enough for me. That was deep enough, connection with my daughter and quality time and all that other good stuff. But then I had to go to work, right? Like, I mean, it's not like it's that's really hard to do. Like, I mean, it was really, really, really hard. The only reason I did it was because it mattered that much to me to be able to try to connect with my daughter to be able to do it. Like, there's not a whole lot of people that are just gonna find that, desire in them just out of nowhere, right? Like, that didn't
Well,
come out
you
of
mean
nowhere for
I
me.
think it comes with the environment and with the culture too, just
It
because
does.
you think about America, it's like America, what they nudge you to do is, hey, you gotta go work and you go make a career yourself and you become this career person, right? In Iceland, the culture may not be as pushing pushy in terms of, hey, you gotta go work. And that's what
Yeah,
I
it's
mean.
even worse. It's even
I've
better.
done that and you've done that. I mean, the only reason why you and I are out of the change is because for some random event that blow us out of that that train tracks, and we completely say, okay, what do we do now? And then we can
Right.
start looking around. But if I'm on that train track, I wouldn't see that I was completely in this monotonous of a train that goes do all day long until the end
Yep. No, you won't. I mean, why do you think that 10% of Icelanders write a book?
because they have time. They are not being forced to do.
Nope.
No.
They do have time to write a book, but why do they have time?
Why do they have time?
Yep.
Because they're not being forced to do labor.
Correct. Why are they not being forced to do labor?
Because I guess the standard of living is better.
I don't know if it's better, but what happened is their government pays for the basic living needs they have.
Right. So
So they haven't paid
however
for it.
you do it, you have somebody is taking care of your basic needs and security before
Yep.
you can start to think about the creativity. But if
That,
you don't have the time and you have to go, looking for your next meal, right? No one can have any kind of brain power to even entertain another idea.
right. So I think the moral of the story is if you give people an opportunity to be creative and express their creativity and you take care of their basic needs, like you get what you're talking about with the Rockefellers providing scientists,
I mean, that's what the Rockefeller did, and that's what he started that trend of having this research for this university. They
right.
especially put a lot of money into the medical field. That's what the medical field has leaps and bounds. They
Yep.
don't put money into the construction field. So construction getting worse and worse and worse, right?
Business, just general business, like like I mean, the sales forces of the world or whatever, like it's horrible. I mean, it's like the industry is archaic and they don't innovate, they don't evolve. Like AT&T, have you ever worked with AT&T before?
No, I don't want to put AT&T.
Oh my
I don't want to
God, dude.
use AT&T.
It is a nightmare. I mean, if you just put anybody in a room and said, "Hey, go invent a better way to do business than AT&T does business," I guarantee you that they would do that in a year, and we would be done with this shit, like it's.
Mhm.
But this is what happens when you continue to have people that feel like they got to keep churning along, like you said, and being a cog in the wheel and grinding away and doing eat the frog, whatever other bullshit that you want to say, right? Like this is what happens is you end up with an AT&T. If you just get out of people's ways and you give them an opportunity to just go create, like, then you get this, and you get Iceland and you get I mean, like it's not that difficult. I don't understand why people can't see this, but like this is what
It's
you
not
and I
because I
see
mean the reason why I think they can't understand it is because they are being preoccupied
by.
by the work and all these bullshit that you have to deal with.
Right.
Because I mean, to me, it's like the government is trying to put control so that you have so you don't have like they want uniformity, so they pushed a certain conditions and a certain agenda so that people follow the same the same path, the same culture and whatnot. So they create these like marketing campaign and then nudging and whatever to make you be to make you really to be occupied, right? Because you think about, look at the kids, you look at your kids, right? What your kid do? Oh, you get up early, you go to daycare. That's even way before they go to school. You go to daycare and then you have your structure, how you do blah blah blah, and then you take a nap and blah blah, go home. And then you go to school, you do the same thing. You go to school, you sit in one chair for hours and
Well,
hours and
somebody cramps
hours,
something in your fucking head. You don't even get to
and
go
you
to
can't
school.
do anything. You can't even go to the
Right.
bathroom if without a hall pass, right? And
Yep.
they have hall pass monitor and hall pass police and a bunch of blah blah blah. And then you go home, right? Do you have any freedom? No. You gotta do homework. So you
Right.
do homework until you fucking like tired and you go to sleep and you wake up early again. And you have man, you talking about doing that for the kids. They don't need to even make money to live, okay? They don't need, and yet they have no time because the government is purposely trying to fill this kid with things to do, activities to do during the day, so they have no time to do anything else. It is to keep them in line because you have ideas and you be,
Yep.
non-conformity. And so same thing with the adults. So you condition them when they were young, and you condition them, and you pass on the conditioning too, because whatever the government tells you, right? You will tell your kids that. So you are passing on the baton to your kids. However, they force you into thinking one way or another it's the right way. Then you continue to tell your kid, if you go to school, you say, hey, government, say, hey, you go to school, I will give you a nice a higher paying job, and I'll give you a house, whatever. Then when you grow up, you have kids, you tell your kid, like, you go and you do good in school, you get good grades, you go to college, and you do blah blah blah, you get a good job. You
Right.
basically brainwash your kids for them so that they can control the masses. Because you think about government, their job is to control the order of the masses. It's very hard, right? So so for them, their agenda isn't to create like advanced, to make society become more advanced. Their more priority is to you know maintain order in society. And so their
Right.
agenda is different. So if you think they are doing things for advancement of society, you're going to be dead wrong. That's why when you have these quote unquote the clubbing laboratories in these, like the medical field. The medical field is a very very good example of how the result is leaps and bounds versus a different field. I mean, when you're talking about like in a different field, like maybe in the arts and craft, or in the I don't know, even in sports medicine, it lives and bounds in sports medicine because there's money in it and there's ability for them to create without being constrained. There are some other funding that has been also good, but not as good. One of them is, I think, is the entrepreneurship one. The entrepreneurship is one of those things where they give you money, but they
They give you
constrain you
just
in
enough.
in
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
in, in a lot of ways. So
They lock you up.
it dampened the potential. In
I,
the medical field, there's no dampening, right? They say, hey, I give you $1 million to research cancer, do however you want. And just report to me, oh, I didn't get anything, or I didn't get something,
it's
right?
no restriction creativity. Like it's today, just today, no shit. Like this guy, super nice guy. Like I got connected to him by a friend of mine. He used to work at Salesforce as well. He used to be like he used to be the head of Service Cloud basically at Salesforce, and he's now retired and he just does investments, right? He's a former collegiate tennis player. He's a big time pickleball player. That was how we got connected together. And I was, talking to him about, hey, like maybe I need some investment into this potential business in the future or something along those lines. And the first time we talked, he was like, I love you. He was like, I love your energy. He's like, I think you have a great vision. I love where you're already going with everything. he was like, but I need, he's like, I need more numbers, you know, to be able to, you know, if I'm gonna look at this from an investor's lens, like he was like, I need more hard numbers to be able to, like, you
But
know,
that's
figure
what I'm
out,
saying is
you know,
people have been conditioned to follow the same mantra, because
this
entrepreneurship is supposed to be open and free. Because like
this is exact, yes,
20
exactly.
like 19 out of 20 investment is a failure. So why do you constrain so many people?
This is exactly what I was about to say. Like today, he's like, Chris, I really like you. So he pinged me about like a week ago, and he was like, look, would you be open for me to helping you through this? You know, and I was like, sure. I'm happy to chat. You know, I mean, I don't like when he asked me for numbers, I sent him back an email that said, look, I can put together a deck and I could go waste, you know, two, 2 months of my life and, $1,500 on putting together a really professional deck. But I was like, I really don't care. I was like, here's why I'm doing this. Here's what I'm at. Here's the market. Here's why me. Here's why Indianapolis. Here's why pickleball. Like, I just wrote him a quick
Why
email and I
anybody? Since I
fired
live
up.
here. I mean,
I was like,
I
I'm
mean,
down. I
I mean,
tried
it's
to
like
explain
he asked me why Houston, because I fucking live here.
because I know the market. And I know the
I ain't
people
gonna.
around here.
Not gonna move to China
Right.
just because China is a
So,
better market. No, I don't live in China. I live here. So that's why
well,
Indianapolis.
so, but
Why pickleball? Because I fucking like football.
because I like pickleball, right? Like this is what I was trying to get.
So a lot of times, like numbers. We talk about numbers. Number means shit.
This is what I was saying. So this is exactly what I told him. I go, look, I was like, I was like, you're awesome, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time to do this. Like, if you don't agree, like, or don't believe in what I'm trying to do, then that's fine. We don't need to talk again. I'm not worried about it at all. So he reaches back out to me and he's like, hey, would you be open to, for me coaching you through of what I need to see in order to make an investment into something like this? He was like, it's not that I don't have interest. He's like, but I need to see this in order to share it with the other investment teams that I work with, and and people that need to that evaluate my choices, because it's my money, but like I have a team of people that manages my finances and my investments and blah blah blah. And I'm like, sure, I'd love to connect with him, because I was kind of curious what advice he was going to give me.
Mhm.
So he shows me this deck today from this other like massive investor that's looking for this massive deck about pickleball. Actually, and I'm not going to speak confidentiality, right? Like I'm not going to share what it was, but it was a massive deck from an investor about a pickleball opportunity that they brought to him, right? And he was walking me through it just to show me, like, hey, this is what I need to see, right? Like, I have to be able to visualize, why would I put my money here with you versus, I could get 10%, some 12% right now in the market, right? Or even hell, I can get 5% in just a savings account or something along those lines. And
Do it.
and the reason
Don't tell me
that,
about it. Go
no,
fucking do it. Go put it into a
this is
fucking savings account. Go do whatever you need to do. Don't come
true.
to me and say, "Look, oh, I can do." So look, I ain't doing your job. This is your job.
I agree. I'm sitting here going, look, I have a fucking facility. I have a team. I have things that are ready to go. I have the energy. I have the passion. I have a complete vision as exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm everything that you would want a box checked on if you were a VC in a fucking, I left my job to go do this. Like, every single box that you would want checked if I was actually looking for a serious investor, or something like that. Like, I mean, I would go, this guy checks every single box. Is it gonna be successful? I don't fucking know. That's the whole point of an investment. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, I mean, like, how are you gonna ask me if this is gonna be successful? Don't even worry about whether it's gonna be successful.
It
Worry
will
about
be
whether I have
successful.
the space
It
to
will be
create.
successful. It
Give
will
me
be
the space to
successful.
create, and it'll be successful.
I guarantee you, if this is what you love to do, you will
It
be
is.
successful.
Right.
I asked you this before, and I asked you this again and again and again. This is being like completely beating a dead horse, right? But have you seen any baby that has all the faculty when they're born fail to learn how to walk?
I don't know. I don't
No
know the
one
answer
that
to
I
that,
know
but
of.
yeah,
No
right.
one that I
No,
know
no,
of.
I know, but I don't know the answer
I'm
though.
saying is, if you are born with all the faculties, it's not like you have any kind of
Right.
genetic, disability or anything like that. But I'm talking about somebody who has all the faculty,
Right.
fail to learn how to walk. If you like pickleball and it is something you have fun
I'll
doing,
figure it
I
out.
guarantee you,
I
you
will figure
will
it out.
succeed.
Right.
You will fail when you quit. That is the only way I see it. Because
I
I'm
agree.
telling you, I have not seen a single person among the 8 billion people that we have that have failed to learn how to walk. Did they walk? Did they succeed the first time in walking? No, but they did walk. So this is what I'm saying is your pickleball club will succeed. It's a matter of learning and pivoting. It
Right.
will succeed. Okay. The only way you're gonna fail is when you quit. But when you love something so much, that's about it. And because you
I
keep
agree.
doing it, it will succeed. It's like, oh, I love to walk. So do I get anything from the walk? No, but I love to walk, so I
No.
continue to try and continue to try, and then I know how to walk. So to me, you look at 8 billion data points
Yep.
and not
You're
a
not
single failure. You have anybody can give you that kind of numbers.
They can't. Like your analogy is so spot on at this point in time that it's like it's almost like a joke to me about like an investor at this point in time. It's like if you truly were an investor, like you should take the John D. Rockefeller approach and just say, I'm looking for people that as he says exactly in this book,
And we have money.
he's like, I have money, but like I need people. He said he told his son Junior, John D. Rockefeller Jr. He goes, John, we have money, but it will only have virtue for mankind if and only if we can find men with ideas, imagination, and courage to put it into productive use. Like, what the fuck do you not?
Because money is useless. Money
It is
isn't
useless.
value.
Like,
It's a transitory to value. So
right.
money is to be put into an idea, into a person for the value to manifest.
Right. Exactly.
So
Like,
if
I mean,
you
if you
if
just
you
want
keep
your money
constraining
to make
yourself,
more money,
if
then
you keep
put it into
constraining yourself to say, hey, I need a checkbox, usually they are completely, you will fail your investment. But this is another reason why so in the past, I have hired a lot of people. Okay. When you hire people and you make them do like tests, like I do some tests, this that the person who scored the highest is the worst employees. You know why? Because they are focusing on passing the test and not knowing how to do what they need to do.
Mhm.
I would say 9 out of 10 people who pass the test, like really good, like really getting to the perfect A score. I mean, you talk about the guy who's like scoring like really good, like 70 to 80%. These guys are really, really good. The guy who scored like really high, like 90 or 100 on the test you give them, they usually are the worst. Like 9 out of 10 won't they won't they will get fired.
Why do you think? Why do you think that is?
Because they are not focusing on doing the work. They are focusing only on passing the test. They are focusing on studying for the test. So they pass the test. So the same thing with the guy with the investor stack. Oh, you need to pass the test of all these numbers. You are basically a career, like presentation deck builders. You're not
Right.
a club, a pickleball club owner. You're not none of that. You're only there to create fucking decks and create numbers. So if you want that guy, well, then it's
go find that guy.
It's good. It's really good,
Right.
but you're not gonna get any money from this guy running a pickleball club.
I mean, I'm not going to waste my time to do it. And that is not to be a slight on this guy, because I think he's a really nice guy and I understand what he's asking me to do. Like I'm not like brain
But
dead.
I'm not
like
doing it.
I know exactly what he's asking me, and I know exactly what he wants. I'm about ready to say I don't think this is a fit. Like, if you can't understand, I laid it out for you why I'm doing this. Every single piece of it along the way. You've talked to me multiple times now. And if you can't understand it, then I don't know. I can't. Then I've either I've done a bad job convincing you, or it's one of those situations where it's like, when's the right time to fire somebody? Right?
You don't have alignment, right? These
Right,
guys
exactly.
is on a different mindset than you are, and
He's looking at an investment. Like, he's not looking at me. Like, he's not looking at a human being with ideas and creativity and the desire to want to go create something meaningful, right? Whether that meaningful thing turns into $1 billion opportunity or a complete epic fail, who gives a fuck? Like, I would rather bet on somebody.
But then what you're gonna do with the money?
Right.
Because the money has no value.
It doesn't. Good. Let your money make more money. But what does that do? Like, there's nothing.
It has no value, right?
It has no money.
Are you gonna have some kind of a process to, like I said, before, splice DNA? Do you have a process to, increase your mental capacity, increase your lung capacity, increase, whatever it is that is benefit to humankind that you like to do, not like suffering
Right.
to sacrifice for it, right? That's what I'm saying is money has no value, just like John D. Rockefeller and say money has no value, right? It only has value only if you can find men with ideas, imagination, and courage to put it into production. That means to
Right.
manifest. You have an idea, you have
Bring
money.
something to
Those are
life.
just intangible. It cannot be
Right.
the manifest except through a person, through
Right.
a living natural person.
Right. I mean, if
Right.
anything, remember I think it was reflection 8 on this whole journey. Like volume is the key, right? From Originals by Adam Grant, right?
Mhm.
It's if I'm an investor, if anybody that comes across my path that's an interesting person that wants money, I'll be like, yeah, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. As long as I have it,
I think the only metric you need to know is can this guy go distances?
do you
Meaning,
believe in him?
i.e.
Can he
volume,
endure?
i.e. volume,
Right.
because I'm asking you again, how many people among the 8 billion people that we have failed to learn how to walk? Given they have all the faculty and they don't have any kind of genetic disorders or disabilities. None, because
None.
they have the distance. Once
Right.
you have the distance, say, hey, I love to walk, so I'm gonna continue to figure out how to walk, and once you gonna get there. So
I mean,
it's volume, it's the numbers. That's the only
true.
metric it should look like. It's not about, oh, what kind of
What's the total
a market
addressable market?
size you
What's
looking
the,
about? What is your
like
how do
if
you
we do
stand
this,
out? How what's your
like
unique
Cager,
value propositions, and what's your year over year increase or whatever the case here,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
completely nonsense.
so it's almost like comical Black Swan stuff, right? It's like trying to control stuff that is completely uncontrollable. Like, I mean, like like it's completely uncontrollable. And it's almost comical to me if you want to know why so many people, why all these tech companies are in problems they're in right now, right? It's because they constantly are trying to manufacture winners. Like they don't know what they're doing. Nobody does. Like no one fucking knows. Like you just got to give people space to go do shit. Like and bet on the right horses that want to go try to do that. Like they have a purpose.
You can look at and go back to the same concept you talk about in reflection number 8. It's about volume, because you look at Tony Robbins, right? You think about him. Is he smarter than you? Is he better than you in any way? No,
I
he's
have no
not.
idea.
He just
Right.
read more books than you, because that's
Sure.
when he read more books, right? His chances increases. And look at him now. That's what I'm saying is because you have volume. In order to have volume, you have to like and feel
That's it. That's the
energized
key. Yes.
in the thing that you do, and that is the only way you get volume. And
Tony
volume
Robbins did not
will
read 2,000
create.
books by eating the frog. It was not eating the frog for him to read 2,000 books or wherever the hell he read or something like that. It wasn't. It was eating the cake, right? And to produce volume, like you said, it's got to be eating the cake.
I mean, you look at people, how many books they read in a year, and let's say they read 2 books in a year and they live to 100 years. How many books did they read?
200 books. And that started when they were 0.
Exactly. And how many books did Tony Robbins read?
I think it was like, I don't know. I think it was like 700 he said or something like
Well,
that.
700 is
before
when he
started.
start his career.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. So you're
like,
talking about he's 10 times.
right.
You had more than 10 times the average person read, right? Because
Right.
Go back to what you said before. I agree with you. It's about volume, but
Right.
volume, the key to volume is, does it align with you? Do you even like it? But you can't say, well, I'm eat the frog and I'm eat volume. You can't go volume if you don't like the frog.
Tony
If you
Robbins says
say
he's read more than 10,000 books in his life.
exactly, I mean 10,000 books, and you read 100 books. How many times is that?
Yeah,
It's a
look
fucking
at this.
10.
So we've read this one. We've done that one. We've done this one. We've done this
Read
one.
that one. We did that one.
We did this one. I've
I
not done
didn't
that
read that
one.
one.
Never seen
No.
that one. Ooh, no, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. I did
nope,
that
no.
one.
I did this one. Yeah, I've read that one. Read this
I
one.
did that one. I did that one.
I have not read that one.
I did that one.
Nope.
I
Did
did
this
that
one.
one. I did
I
that
have
one.
not read that.
I didn't do
Nope.
that.
Nope.
No.
No.
I might have that
I
one.
I started this one, and I didn't like it.
I did
Nope.
that one.
Yep.
I did that one. I did that
Yep.
one. I
Yep.
did
Read
that
that one.
one. I
Yep.
did that one.
Yep. I've read this too.
I
Yeah.
did that
Yep.
one. That one.
Read that one. Yeah. Anyway, so like, I
Well,
mean,
you
it's
think
a
about it. I mean, that's like 70-80% of the books that we read
right, and
is
that's what we're
in the
talking.
list.
Like, but it's eating the cake for us, right? Like, and this is the point. If I'm an investor, like, I just don't understand. If I'm John D. Rockefeller and I have money, like, and you're blessed to have money, right? It's not like they didn't do work to earn their money, right? They did. They ate the cake to earn their own money. I'm assuming, right, at this point, or I'm assuming. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just inherited it. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Either way, they have money right now. What are you looking for to put your money into? I'm only looking for people that are eating the cake and they want to eat a lot of it. Like, that's it. I don't even give a shit what their idea is. I don't care what market they're even in. If they're
I
eating
mean,
cake all
you
day
think
long,
about it. You think about this, right?
let them eat cake.
Let's say I have money, right? And I want to invest in company, like I want to buy stocks, right? And so when I buy stocks, do I want to buy the stock that give me the best returns or the stocks of the company I like? You think about, hey, this
That's the
company
company you
here,
like.
their job is to go rob banks, and it makes a
Right.
lot of money. So do you want to put your money into the company that rob banks, or you want to put your money into, oh, I like dogs, so let's put into a company that whatever,
You
do
use for
whatever
a dog
to
walking service.
enhance dogs alive, blah blah, right?
Right.
So you put the stuff into the thing that you
Yep.
like. So something
Right.
is, when you look at somebody and you invest in something, right? You still put it into the thing they like, because if they
Right.
like dogs, you like dogs. That's, if you don't like pickleball, then okay, then don't invest. I have no problem.
That's the funniest thing about this
If you like
guy.
pickleball and you like this guy also like pickleball, oh, show me the fucking numbers. Oh, it doesn't make sense.
That's
It's like,
true. This is the funniest part about this. This guy is a collegiate level tennis player who is also a competitive pickleball player that is also.
so he should know more than you in terms of
he,
the
he
market,
should.
right?
He
In
does.
terms
He's
of
he,
like,
we've had multiple conversations about this stuff, and he's really on their shit about what this is. I mean, at the end of the day, it blows my mind. Like, going, I'm not going to jump through hoops for anybody ever. Like, it either fits or it doesn't fit, and it's I'm not. This is not
the
because
thing
one
is,
of my
they
values is
invest
don't do
in
it alone,
you,
right?
not you investing in them. That's a big difference. It's my only
Right.
job is to run this pickleball club. I'm not say you invest in me, because
Right.
you have the money, and then that needs to manifest. And I'm the guy who's manifesting. I'm the creator. I'm the creator value. So when you invest in me, not the other way around. But that's the thing is, in society, it flipped like 180. And all these entrepreneurs go and dance and like dog and pony show to this fucking investor who like, oh, I know everything, when you don't know shit about what we're doing, right?
You don't
And
know
they say,
anything.
well, I know that the market in medicine is, it's blah blah blah. This is why I see every single day among these investors, they think they have money, that they know
They
stuff, but
understand, right? Yeah.
in reality, they know shit. Because the thing is,
That's even more
logically,
dangerous because they think they know.
how can you know if you're not in the trenches?
They don't like this. And my final thought on this, I got to go to bed because I'm so tired. Because I've been beavering all day long and I'm exhausted right now. And I got a little bit more beavering left to go before we get this place open, but we're getting close. But my final thought on this particular topic is reading the room of, like, why am I fighting for this money, right? Like, with anybody, like, I'm not, I shouldn't be, and I don't care. But like, this guy was more impressed by a deck of a theoretical idea of people that don't really care about this stuff, but just see it as an investment opportunity, versus somebody that's staring them into the face going, I am all in. And I'm showing him photos, like, because he was like, hey, you're getting close to opening, like, I'd love to see, like, what you got. I'm showing him fucking photos of what we're doing right now every single day, the membership base that's being built, the people that are signing up, the money, the revenue that's already coming in the door, and I'm like, what am I missing here? You want to see a deck? Like, I don't even understand what you even want a deck to say. I'm gonna do exactly what I'm already doing? Like, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, what? Like, do you think that this isn't theoretical? Like, you make a deck when you have nothing to show. Like, I mean, there's nothing to show. Like, I've quit my job. The place is opening in 2 weeks. Like, like, I mean, it's what else do you want? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I completely see your point, but that's my grasp among these investors as well. That's what I'm saying. Is investors don't know shit. They just have money and they let it get to their head, right? And
Right.
this is where they fall in terms of losing the money because they put it into the places where it shouldn't be.
If they can't find other men with ideas, imagination, and courage to put it into
To
productive
put
use,
into productive use, to
it
put
is
into productive use.
worthless.
That's the
It
only
is
way
worthless.
to bring value from your
Yes.
money. It give it to men who can put it into productive use, right? That's
Right.
what I'm saying is these investors, like this is reason why in that's what I'm saying in the entrepreneur sector, it is very constrained, and it's sad to see that even though they are putting money into ideas of creating business creation and whatnot, but the result comes out, it's slow. I mean, you look at Uber, you look at Airbnb, these are great companies because it optimizes the usage of our resources, which is really great. But how many
Right.
of those coming out? And they call this a unicorn company because it's rare. You're talking about in order to go leaps and bounds, right? You should be dishing out a bunch of Airbnb and Uber and all these companies like faster than you can keep up with. This is what you see in the medical field. You have so many different companies that does in every single segment of every healthcare crevices and cracks in that industry. So everything's covered. And so
Right.
in any issues that we come across, we are bound to have somebody creating and making
Specialties.
making advancement in it.
Right.
And that to me is a huge differentiator between the medical research field and the many other field. I mean, I'm talking about
and VCs.
yeah. I mean that's the thing is that's the thing is we need a Rockefeller. I mean we need
This is my point. Is you need somebody that's not tied to some specific outcome that they need to happen. Because if it's tied to an outcome that they think that they need to achieve in order to find people to invest into in this world, like it'll never work. That is why the VC model does not work. That is why the John Rockefeller model of you have money, just give it to people that care about shit. That's it. Just give it to people that care about shit and let them go create. That's it. That is all that you have to do. Like if this guy had so much money, I would be like, look, I have $10 million. I'm gonna give 9 million of it to, I don't know, a clubany, and just say, go, hey, you guys are really all into building, I don't know, I don't fucking know. You name it, like pickleball. You guys are all into pickleball.
I mean,
like,
you look at Clubney. Clubney is not a one thing; it's an incubator.
it is, yeah.
Because Clubney isn't for sale. Clubney isn't investable. Clubney isn't investable. You can't invest in Clubney because it's a framework, right? But inside Clubney, there are men that can put money into productive use, creating value from money. There are men in there is inside of the framework that can generate so much value. That's what I'm saying. Clubney isn't a one thing. It's in a company. You can put like all 9 millions into Clubney. You don't need to give 1 million. But because inside Clubney there are many.
Yeah, we're gonna create. We're gonna find people to create and give it to them and let them create. Like, I mean, and if we run out of money, we'll go get more money. Like, I mean, like, just keep pumping money into it until it creates something. Eventually, it will create something. Like, I mean, this is what happens.
But I want to, kind of like make a spotlight on the fact that when you have the unconstrained, the results are like 10, 100 times, even 1,000 times.
Yep.
And the constrained one, because inside of a entrepreneurial company, 95% of all company fail within the first 3 years, and another whatever fails within another 5 years. So in 5 years, only 3% is left, right? That means these guys don't have distance. So you are actually putting your money in at 3%. By chance, they like what they do, and they continue to go beyond the 5 years to the 10 year for them to give you return on your investment. That's the reason why you constrain people, because you
But
look at the story.
that word is because you're looking small term. Like it's the return on your investment is the problem. Like you should never expect a return on your investment ever. Like you should never expect it. It should never be.
You should look into the stories of Walmart and Kmart, right? You know about Walmart and Kmart, right?
I'm getting ready to read Sam Walton's Made in America autobiography
Yeah.
next.
But there is a lesson to learn from Walmart and Kmart, because Kmart is like the golden child in the investor world, because they have all the numbers. They beat Walmart in every single thing in terms of numbers and metrics and blah 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 and all the PEs and blah blah blah, right? Where's Kmart today? And where's Walmart today? That is the reason why the numbers is a distraction. It's actually more of a hindrance
It is
than a benefit.
Right.
Right,
we're not human
Walmart
beings
was
are
like
numbers.
Walmart. They grew astronomical compared to Walmart, right? But they completely wiped themselves out.
Because we're not.
I don't know.
Fucking
I don't know
numbers.
if that information is in that book, but you need to research on the Walmart and Kmart story, where like I said, I learned tidbits of things here and there, like like the blue oceans and a bunch of
Yes.
like the lean startup and all of that. So there's little nuggets here and there, but if you research them, I think you understand the reason why Walmart continues to be productive today,
Right.
and it's really being productive. It's like it's a Fortune 5 company for how many for years, and the guy Sam Walton, right? I think he have like 5 or 7 kids, whatever. And their kids individually divided his fucking fortune. It's still like top 10 or top 20 in the
Right.
in the Fortune
Right.
richest people list, divided among 5 to 7 people, and they still now rank one of the top 10, the top 20.
Right.
You think about that, right? And you look at Kmart. Where's Kmart today? And that is a reason. That's a lesson the investors should be learning.
Yep. I agree. Just stop investing. Like that's what an investor should be learning. Is stop investing. Like start just putting your money toward people and causes and
Start
ideas.
investing, start caring.
Start helping people that care about stuff. Like that's what you should do. If you're an investor, help people to help people to be on purpose. Help people to eat more cake. That's what you should do. Is if somebody loves to travel, help them to go travel more, and then figure out where that goes from there. If somebody loves to play baseball, help them to play more baseball, or help them to do whatever. Like if somebody
When
loves
you
to
think
code,
about it, you
help
think
them to
about
code.
an investor would never ever going to invest in a scuba diver that goes look for sunken treasure.
Who the fuck would do that? That's insane. You
Because
can't predict a return off of that.
no
Yeah.
investor would ever invest in it, because there's no
That'd be
numbers.
stupid. That would be the dumbest investment you could ever make. And also, you're the
But the
dumbest
thing is,
guy.
you think about it, the scuba diver could find some relics and some kind of secrets of the fountain of youth, or found CRISPR or whatever, and they could
I'm
make
not.
trillion. That's why I'm saying no investor would ever invest in that kind of a company, because from the onset, from the numbers perspective, it doesn't make sense. Like, hey, this is like throwing money into the fire. But the thing
Dude,
is, this kind of company is what changed the world.
I agree. This is the fundamental problem with investing. Is they think they understand what's going to be successful or not. It's really just a gamble. Like you're just fucking gambling. Like if you
But
just
the
want to
thing
make
is, to me, the gambling is the odds are against you, because I'm talking about you are dumping your money into the 3%, because you are giving the money. You are actually
you think you know what you're doing.
you're actually filtering out the people that have the potential, and you are giving the money to people who don't have potential. Because I'm saying is you are giving
they made him
guy
dead.
the ability to build the fucking slide decks versus the guy who actually know how to do the business that you think you're investing in. Because the guy who's spending the time to impress you with a slide deck, his job is to build a slide deck. It isn't to run something else.
I do not have time to build you a slide deck. I mean, I don't. I mean, like,
so when you invest that way, you are actually filtering out the good candidates.
Yes, Agreed. All right. We got to end it there. That was good to get back a nice little YOMO today because it's been a couple days. All right. So the question we can leave for everybody is what value to society might your meaningful work produce if you were free to create what you wanted? I mean, I think we all could answer. If you don't know what your meaningful work is, then that's step one. But
And that's the
step
step
two
one.
is
That's the first step
it's an
is
important step.
to
Yeah.
yeah,
But
exactly.
if you do know what it is, like, and if somebody could just get out of your fucking way and support you through this, like, I mean, I think we'd all,
But
you know,
the thing is, to me, at my stage in life, it's like I don't care if you're my way because I ain't going to obey you, right? I'm not going to be nice to you just because I will tell you straight, get the fuck out of the way, I'll run you over, or I'll just go around you, right? I'm not. So to me, is even if you get in my way, it won't stop me.
sure,
It will not
sure.
stop me.
I agree. I think that's a weird luxury that comes with age though. And you have resources. Like when you have no resources, it's hard to put yourself into that mindset. That's the right mindset to have, but
But
it's
that's
hard
what
to
I'm
put
saying
yourself.
is, I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to teach you. But if you don't, I guess, drag me down, you can come along. You can watch what I
Right.
do,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
If it's free, I don't mind.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like if this guy wants to just see
I
what I'm
mean,
doing and come visit, then
exactly. So
check it
it's
out.
no excuse for you to say, well, it comes with a. That's just a fucking excuse.
Yeah.
You can be whatever you want to be. Do you want? That's the only question you can answer yourself. Do you want it? If you want it, it's oh, I'm too young. Oh, I'm too old. Oh, I'm too poor. I'm too whatever. Like, what's your excuse? What's my
Right.
excuse? Right? I mean, I come here, right? I don't have anything. My parent didn't have anything. I mean, $0. So where you get that from?
Yep.
Right? Because the thing is, let's say I have no money, right? I can go say, uh, hey Chris, I saw you eating an apple. Can I borrow one of your apple seeds? Right? And I go and say, hey, Mr. Farmers, you have some dirt. Can I borrow some of your dirt or your land? Let me grow this tree. And the tree, I said, hey Chris, when I grow the tree, I'll give you back an apple. Okay. Right. So you say, well, you give me the seed, right? I pay you back one apple, which is many seeds in it. So it's like
Right.
10 times your investment. And then
Yeah.
the farmer, he gets like, okay, I'll give you a bushel of apples from my tree,
Right.
from the renting of your plot, right? And then I gave him a bushel of apple. So the apple, one seed can generate many returns. This is the law of abundance. This is not a law of scarcity, right? This is what
Right.
we're talking about in terms of thinking abundant. Because an apple, how many apples can I grow from one seed?
One
Infinite.
apple. Yeah.
No,
I mean, one,
infinite.
two.
Because one
That's a good point.
apple, and one apple, how many apple come out of one
Yeah, I
seed?
get it. That's no, that's a good point. And then those
Right?
seeds turn into
And
other
so
seeds,
so
and
you,
so
you say,
yeah,
well, in that sense, how did I make money?
gotta keep planting seeds.
No, you just need to understand. You need the knowledge.
Right.
And knowledge, right? Like I say, you don't search for knowledge, you won't find them. But so you can't say, well, I have this, I have that, whatever. But I'm telling you that if I know what I know now, I can do it when I was young. I can do it when I'm 10 years old,
Agree. Yeah. No,
7
I agree
years
with
old,
you.
5 years
Yeah.
old, whatever.
I'm with
There's no
you.
limit.
I
If
mean,
you limit
100%.
yourself because of conditioning of society, say, hey, you can't do this because you're too young. You're not old enough. And then you say, oh, okay. No, I'll wait.
Right. I totally agree. All right, but I gotta go to bed. I mean,
Okay.
I've been up since 3 a.m. or whatever the fuck it was, and I'm about ready to pass out. So all right, all right,
All right.
officially done. It was good to be back for the night, and see you all tomorrow.
Good night.